I just wanted to come on and update you about my son's EHCP and the needs assessment being declined and what we're going to do next, just in case it might help somebody else in the future. So we're currently in February 2024, just in case things change. So I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible. So just in case you don't know what an EHCP is, it's an educational healthcare plan which will help support your child in school. So if your child's going to a specialist like SEN school, they will need an EHCP. If they're going into a mainstream school, obviously the majority of children that go to a mainstream school don't really require any extra support. They get enough support from the teaching staff, teaching assistants, etc. And they normally get by okay, fine, do well. Then you've got like the next level of children and they might require some extra support, but normally the school already has funding and can implement that without the need for like extra funding, etc. With an EHCP, it is a legal document and it will detail all the support that your child needs, and it gets reviewed normally annually, sometimes more, and that will, it's a legal document, so the school have to should stick to what it says in it, and the school's then able to get more funding. So for instance, if your child needed a teaching assistant or a learning assistant for a certain amount of hours in a day, the funding could be used to hire that person. If they needed like a ramp for a wheelchair putting in or something, then obviously it would be funded. I'm not an expert, this is just what I've learned. So anyway, if my son is currently 3, he'll start school in September. So the nursery applied for an EHCP. The nursery or school can apply for this, or the parents can apply. So the reason you would apply for an EHCP is if your child has special educational needs or you suspect they might have additional needs. You don't have to have diagnosis set in stone. For us, we have got diagnosis. But even if you just suspect your child's got additional needs, you can apply for one. And secondly, that you suspect they may need a specialist provision. It doesn't mean going to a SEN school. They might just need a higher level of support in school. Around 20% of children have special educational needs, and not all of them will need an EHCP. Some of them will be okay with the support the school can already provide. It's whether you think your child has a higher need for a higher level of support. So what they do, nursery or yourselves will request an EHCP for your child, send off all your evidence of why you're applying, and the local authority have got 6 weeks to give you an answer, yes or no, to the EHCP needs assessment. So what they would then do if you got a yes is send out an educational psychologist, and they would assess your child and see if they need an EHCP, and if they do, then they come up with what your child actually needs. I believe then they've got 14 weeks to do it if they stick to the 20-week guideline, and you'll get a draft copy. You can go through it, see if you agree with it, etc. Unfortunately for us, we got a no. So we got a no for the ehcna, so the Educational Healthcare Needs Assessment. They looked at the evidence and they said that my son seems to be getting on okay at nursery, but that is only because nursery go above and beyond with the level of support for him. They have said that they will monitor him, and he's under the preschool forum, the early years team, so if they felt that one was necessary, they can request one. So I had a few choices of what to do next. So one, I can just do nothing and accept their decision, and then obviously be happy that he's under early years and he's under speech and language therapy, he's under paediatrician, under everyone umbrella pathway, and if they feel that he does need one, they can reapply at a later date. So that would just be option 1, do nothing. Then option 2 is basically appeal. So if you are in the same situation as me and you feel like they've made a mistake and you feel that your child really does need an EHCP and you want to appeal their decision, I would recommend ringing sendiass, that is sendiass, sendiass, and they are trained to be able to give you advice, point you in the right directions. I also spoke to a lovely lady called Louise. She's on Instagram, Insightful Beginnings, and she was able to talk me through like the law and if they were in the breach of the law. So for instance, they have to stick to that 6-week deadline to tell you a yes or no. If not, they're in breach of the law, and they have to tell you why, etc. So she was really helpful to speak to. So my child has diagnosis. He definitely has SEN, so that ticks the first box of like, is there suspected additional needs? Well, yes. And then in the letter it says we do not know yet if he will need specialist provision. So as I see it, he ticks the second box. So I would like to appeal it. So to appeal, you have 2 ways of going forward. There's mediation, and you have to consider mediation. Considering it can just be having the phone call with the mediation people and saying that it's not for you, and they will issue a certificate, which then means you can go straight to tribunal. If you do go through mediation, it's basically a meeting with yourself, school or nursery, anyone else you want to invite, like professionals, and the local authority, and then the mediation team. And the mediation team will chair the meeting to try so that I can give my evidence and my opinion and try and change the local authority's mind. I've heard mixed reviews about mediation. Some people say it's a complete waste of time. Some people say that they got the decision overturned at mediation. Mediation seems to be a lot quicker than tribunal. And I've been told if you think that you've got a strong case, then mediation is definitely worth a go. If you feel like your case may be like borderline, then maybe just take it straight to tribunal. So you have the call with the mediation, they explain everything to you, and then it's up to you whether you want to choose that option, or you can say, no, I've considered it, it's not for us, get the certificate, and then go straight to tribunal. The tribunal would be you, the local authority, nursery, and in front of a judge, so the judge would make the final decision. If you go to mediation and they still say no, then you can go to tribunal, so you're not losing that aspect of it. So it's just a case of gathering all your evidence and deciding where's best to go. So I'm completely on the fence, but I've been told that if I do mediation, there's only about a month's wait for a mediation date, whereas for tribunal there is currently about 5-6 months wait in my area. So I feel like maybe it's worth giving the mediation a go, because then I will only be losing 30 days really. If they say yes at mediation, then that's win-win then, isn't it? Because we've saved time and that's that. If they say no, then we've only really lost 30 days. So that's where we're at with it, and I hope my explanation makes sense to you. So yeah, just to recap, if you're in this situation, don't lose hope. It is like when I got that decision, I was pretty confident we would at least pass the needs assessment point. So when it was a no, it was disappointment. I felt instantly stressed. I felt like it was the end of the world. Like, why? So as you know, as a parent to a child with additional needs, life can be pretty hectic as it is without having to appeal and fight everything. Like, it's one thing when I started this journey as a SEN parent, people were always like, everything's going to be such a fight now, get ready to fight, find that lioness in you. And I was like, things can't be like that bad, can it? And then now you realise every time like something happens, you just get doors shut in your face constantly, have to batter them down. But we're strong parents, and you've got this, I've got this. You know what is right for your child. Just fight for them. Shouldn't have to be like this, but it is. But yeah, once you get the decision, just sit with it. Read the letter. At the bottom of the letter, it will tell you who to ring in terms of the mediation. They're like a unbiased kind of company. I would also ring sendiass. See if you've got any, I think they're called advocate hubs. So somebody that could advocate for you if you don't feel confident. Speak to your child's nursery or school. See if you can get more evidence ready for the appeal. And then, yeah, you've just got to make a choice whether you're going the mediation route first or going straight to tribunal. Sometimes, if you've got enough evidence, the local authority will change their mind before it even gets to mediation or tribunal once they know that you're appealing it. So yeah, I wish you good luck if you are appealing a decision, and yeah, I'll keep you updated with what we do decide and how it goes. But yeah, thank you for everyone's support. Bye.